verse. Add value to my work, check the volume on my work. You get what you give, and I'm loving all the perks. Easy gift and the curse, make them check another verse.
What's good, world? Easy said, then done. Man, listen, this episode, we got to give our little shout out to the NCAA tournament. Once again, you do your job. And I always love this time of the year because, in my personal opinion, the NCAA men and women's basketball tournament, Division One, FBS. We'll say Division One because FBS is for the football side of things. Y'all got it right, man. You pick 64 teams. It's even really 68 because they have a play-in for the last two spots. I want to say it's a play-in. It's like really 68 teams. It was 60. No, that's right. There's 68 teams. Them 4 teams on the last 8. That's what they call the last 4. They play in to get into the 64. But in the 64, that tournament, man, listen. Single elimination, 64 teams get a shot at winning a national championship. You can't beat that, bro. College football just now starting to respect that side of things. Because for the longest, as much as I'm a fan of my teams in college football, my team really, my Wolverines, I hate that political process, especially just a couple years back when we watched the undefeated Florida State team, and I mentioned this before on a video. And that's crazy. And if you watch college football before that, when it was just voting in your champion, and you would watch teams get skipped over just because you want to vote for blue bloods, it's retarded. And then you got the teams that are in lower conferences go undefeated, and they're not playing. So the NCAA tournament in men's basketball, when you have 64 teams, it's hard to miss with a team not getting an opportunity to play for a championship. They get to prove it on the court. Anybody who has a legit argument to being a champion gets a shot at playing for it. And they got it right, bro. And a single elimination. And the reason why I like the tournament, like over than I like the NBA version with the 7-game series. Sometimes the referees get involved in the series when they see it's a huge upset about to happen. You don't see a lot of upsets in the NBA with the NBA playoffs. It's usually who you expect to be there. Where the upset might happen is the finals or the Eastern Conference or Western Conference finals. But for the most part, it's not a lot of shock value. And we love the game of basketball to where we still watch it. We love to watch a great player blossom into greatness, or a good player become great, or the great players not be able to win championships. You know what I mean? And that's what makes us have these conversations about who the GOAT is, and who's a legend versus who's just a really good player. You know what I mean? Is how they perform in the moments. A lot of times it have to do with the team, and the game of basketball is a beautiful thing to watch. That's why we still watch. I'm gonna speak on me. That's why I watch the NBA playoffs. I barely watch it during the season because 82 games is a long season too. Players take games off. See, college basketball just got it right because their season's not that long to begin with. You know what I mean? They play like 35 games, and they really just need to see who they want to seed teams in this 64-team tournament so they know where to place everybody. This year, there wasn't a lot of shock value, but the shock value still was, that final result. Because I didn't think the Gators were going to win it. I watched the Gators play a couple times. I wasn't impressed until you just see them do it. So every time somebody come up and they got all the way to the national championship game, not only did they beat an Auburn team that I thought was better than them, they beat a Houston team who beat my Dukies, who I thought their style of play was going to fuck up, excuse my language, the Gators, but really Florida played the same style. They could go to that level, playing scrappy and defensive, staying in the game. getting rebounds. I knew Florida had some good big men, and their big men showed out, and I got to give it to them for that, man. Their big men showed out. They did, and it was a team effort. It wasn't no. I mean, this kid, Clayton, the one I was expecting to have a big game, he only had 11 points, and for the most of the game, I'm watching it. Right, he was nowhere to be seen. You know, he trying to get difficult, and he's taking difficult shots on top of that because Houston's defending him well. But Richard had the best game. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds. He was scrappy all night. And the kid, I think the athleticism he's shown and him being a senior, he done made himself a second round draft pick in the NBA. Somebody gonna give him a shot. You know what I mean? He's a defensive guy. The way he's athletic, and he was hitting some outside shots. I think he just made himself. See, that's what you love about. I think Clayton made himself a first round pick. They were talking about him not even being a first round lottery. I don't think he's gonna make it just because they got usually they're pretty locked in on these lottery guys who got the physical stature of being an NBA player. They got the wingspan and the height at certain positions. You know what I mean? Um, plus the name, right? My man Cooper Flag already coming in the top recruit when he came out of high school, lived up to it. So it was his number one draft spot to lose, and he got to the Final Four. He did, blow wreck, but they know who they're gonna pick. But I salute the Gators because they just play, and that's what the thing is too. A lot of them boys know they're not gonna go to the NBA. See, it's not like college football where them blue blood schools, man, them dudes know they're going to the league. Like the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Bamas. They might not go that year, but eventually they're gonna get drafted. Like NFL drafts so many people. You got 7 rounds with every NFL, these 32 teams getting a pick in each round. So it adds up to a lot of players. You got to get down to the smaller schools where it's a less likely chance. But them blue bloods, I mean, because you're already a highly recruited guy going in, you basically just got to you do your job at the school, the Bamas, Ohio States, the Florida States, the Oregons. You do your job, are solid. Somebody gonna give you a shot. But NBA is harder. So when a college player playing college, a lot of them boys ain't gonna make it. A lot of them ain't gonna be in the NBA. So that's their last. That's why you see them dudes when they lose, boy, they crying and they know it's over with. They might try or they go play overseas. So it's a lot of heart on that court, man. That's why, in my personal opinion, the NCAA championship is the best. Like the men's and women's. A lot of people ain't gonna make it to the next level. You know. And then shout out to the Florida Gators. They won. They had a great season. They were all the teams in the Final Four were number one seeds. You can't doubt them because they were there all year in the best conference this year in basketball, which was the SEC. Who would have thought this mighty football conference was it in basketball this year? Because they were all over the place. They had all type of teams in the tournament, and the Gators were battle tested. So shout out to the Gators, man, and just once again for college basketball, I love their system, bro. The only thing now, and I'm gonna talk about this in another episode, is this transfer portal. We're gonna talk about it, dog, because it's already some news in college football world that I'm shocked. And it's gonna happen in basketball too. Like dudes slide out of schools now because of NIL money and the transfer portal being wide open. I'm not mad. It's a double-edged conversation because they making money off an industry that's making trillions. Like I'm pretty sure if you add up all the college sport money between the major ones, it's in the trillions. They're playing with trillions, if not trillions, hundreds of billions of dollars. So these dudes deserve some of that money because some of these college schools are in cities ain't no professional. It's all college, and there's multi-million, like every game sold out and all that, this, that, and the third. And the school's making all kind of money off of players' likeness and image and name You know what I mean? So you might as well break them off. It's nothing wrong with that. They doing commercial. They deserve all that. They do. But it's just a line being drawn. So we're gonna talk about in the next one because it's a big name. You know what I mean? I don't want to, we'll talk. I mean, I'm talking about. I just woke up and saw it today and like, whoa, like big name, quarterback for one of these new a school that just came up, but that's another not came up, but been around, fell off, but now they're back in that limelight. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, man. So I just college basketball. That is all college sports are dealing with it. I promise you, when the portals open, because that season just ended. So, but I think I've already seen news of guys leaving schools to go elsewhere. Coach and college basketball does this a lot too. I think NBA too. I don't know what it's about the game of basketball. Coaches leave schools to go to other schools. And I don't be getting it because the way you can play in that tournament, you have the opportunity to make a powerhouse right where you're at. Like Mark Few at Gonzaga. That man could have went to a North Carolina or a Kansas or a Duke, Duke or whatever school that is like that blue blood or used to be and are just a coach away from getting back. And he stayed at Gonzaga and he's made him a powerhouse. Yeah, he's never won a championship, but he's been to the Final Four. I know they're paying him well. He got to the tournament again this year. I think they only made it to the second round though, maybe Sweet 16. But he's always in the mix. But he sticks with Gonzaga versus I forgot what coach was it. Just took over the Villanova job, right? And he just left a pretty good school. I can't remember the name of the coach and who, but it was like to me as a side move, like you already somewhere doing good work. Or the coach at Xavier, he used to coach Arizona. He got in some trouble at Arizona, right? He went back to Xavier where he was already successful. Xavier, when he was there and before in history, been a perennial tournament savvy team. But now this guy's taking a job at the University of Texas. See, that's your shit with college basketball, but that's cool. That's part of the game because you never know when one of them assistant coaches, like my man at Duke, Shire, yeah, he's filling some big shoes with Coach K. But I'm disappointed we lost, but I see the trajectory Shire's going on. He's like it's very upward. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little irritating, because you never know. Shy might get a job who offer him a ton of money, or like Billy Donovan, who used to coach the Florida Gators, he went to the NBA. Basketball's just different like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then we could talk about on another episode, how the coach at the Nuggets got fired. The man just won a championship like 2 years ago. ESPN showed a stat like the last four out of the last five coaches that won the finals all been fired. Like what the fuck? But now a lot of times now, peep game. You got to watch NBA. See, it's different. It don't really be a great coach that be winning finals. It be just a team. You know what I mean? Sometimes it do be the coach. Sometimes it's just the team so raw, and you just happen to be the one coaching them boys. For real, it's just really what it is, dog. Like you got great coaches that never won a championship just because they don't never go get that franchise or they never had the opportunity to get that legend that it's damn near a can't miss. As long as you put the players around them, you're gonna win your championship with this guy. And that's how the NBA works. That's why the lottery is the way it is with the draft. They looking for that guy with the potentials that's through the roof versus a college kid that was like killing it because he might not be tall enough to be able to take over an NBA game, have what it takes, or be quick enough or athletic enough. And that shit real now. And they be pretty good with peeping that. Or some guys, and they're gonna be a good player in the NBA, just need to go to a team like and play a role. You ain't gonna be that guy. Because usually that guy is that specimen. That guy is the LeBrons and the Wembenyamas and you see that Cooper fits that because he's 6'9", 6'10", and can do all he can do. You're gonna draft him number one. It's too much of not only is he skilled already, but he's got this potential out the roof because he's already got size and athleticism. You know what I mean? And has an all-around game with scoring ability versus my man Clayton, who's only 6'1". He's not really a point guard because his court vision. I watched it too. Even in that national championship game, that man was missing all type of passes. I'm like, damn, bro, he was just throwing shit into the ground, trying to be fancy. And it's like, bro, just play your game. You're trying to be impressive right now. You down there about to blow the game because he was missing shit. He just ain't his game. I see that was a knock on it. I read it in a profile for his draft. He don't got that court vision, but he's a hell of a clutch player, and he just won a championship. And that alone gonna speak on something. He gonna be a great role player on somebody's team. They might go in the league and be a raw player, but you got to put him on the right roster, the right system. You know what I mean? He still needs guys around him. But anyways, it's still shout out to these boys, man. Shout out to Houston too for getting there. You know, you feel sorry for Ralph Sampson because he's got some age on him and he could have win it. But he's a great coach. I remember when he did it at Oklahoma with Blake Griffin. You know, and I think he coached my man. No, I think he came after the one that plays for the Hawks. But yeah, I just want to shout out. I love the tournament, man. I do. I don't watch. I damn near watch basketball. I just wait for playoffs and tournaments because seasons are long in basketball. You know what I mean? And you get hot and cold at the wrong time. I got my teams now. You know, it's just a different game to watch than football when you need to watch that shit all year and really devise if a team's got it. You know, basketball you got to watch it too, but that way it's streaky. You know, it really matters when it matters. But shout out to the Gators for being the 2025 national championship. Shout out to the NCAA tournament for setting a standard in how you set up a championship and the play style and the bracket style, the champ. It's just better. It's just they got it better than everybody, professional and college. It's just the best way they do it. Them men and women, fire. You know. But you know, it's your boy Eazy, man. Easy said and done. We out.